In this tutorial, we're going to go over how to configure your matrix card. When you purchase a D1 system, you have the option of purchasing a matrix multiplexer card that allows you to output video from your D1 DVR server to a video monitor. And what's unique about using the matrix card is that you can view a completely different set of cameras on your video monitor from what you're viewing on your computer screen. And the way that you configure your matrix card, you click on settings and then you click matrix, and we're only concerned with this top area here. We address display setup in this bottom section in a different tutorial. This affects the video that displays on the main screen of the DVR software when you first launch it. For the matrix card, you have the option of configuring up to 16 different groups, and depending on your matrix card, we have matrix cards with dual video outs, so that you can display video on two different video monitors, or we also have a 4-channel matrix card, so you could display video on 4 different video monitors, and you can actually have a different group displaying on each one of those monitors. So on monitor, because you're limited to 16 squares on your screen at any given time, so you can only display 16 cameras at once, but there's a nice feature built into the software that allows you to rotate between cameras in each one of the squares. So for instance, you could have, let's say you have 2 video monitors. You could create a group that sends out cameras 1 through 16 on your first video monitor, and that would be your set group 1, and then you could create another group under set group 2 that displays cameras 17 through 32 on the second video monitor. And that's why this feature is here, so that you can configure different groups for different video monitors. So the way that you configure each group, by default it's going to go to set group 1 here, and depending on the number of channels on your matrix card, you'll have different options here. If you have a 2-channel matrix card, you'll have a video out 01 and a video out 02. If you have a 4-channel, you'll have 4 options here. But basically you can choose a group and then choose which output jack on the matrix card you want this group to be output to. We're going to change this to NTSC, and here's a section that can be a little confusing to kind of wrap your head around, but you can choose a view mode, and the view mode is displayed here. So right now we have 1 view. We can choose 4 view. You can choose up to 16. There's a maximum of 16 squares that can be displayed on the screen for the group at one time. And you have a drop down here where you can select each one of the windows that are represented here. Now we're going to jump back to 1 view. When there's only one, when you have 1 view selected, there's only 1 window, and you can choose which camera is displayed in that window. But what's important to note here is that you can choose more than 1 camera. We could choose all 8 cameras here. What's going to happen if we choose all 8 cameras? This number here is going to be relevant, because what's going to happen is if we choose all 8 cameras, it's going to display camera 1 for 3 seconds, then it's going to jump to camera 2 for 3 seconds, camera 3 for 3 seconds, and so on. So it's going to display all 8 cameras in this one window, and it's going to rotate between every one of those cameras, and it's going to stay on each one for 3 seconds before jumping to the next camera. This feature is necessary because you can only display 16 cameras on the screen at a time. And you can change these intervals. You can go 3, 6, 9. It's in multiples of 3. You can go all the way up to 30 seconds. And we'll go ahead and uncheck these. Now, you can jump to a different view. You can go to 2 view. Now, in 2 view, you can configure 2 different windows. And what will happen is, now that we have window 1 selected here, we can choose maybe camera 1, 2, and 3. That means that window 1 is going to rotate between these 3 cameras. Then we can go to window 2 here in the drop down, and we could choose cameras 4, 5, and 6. And camera 2 is going to rotate between these 3 cameras, resting on each one for 3 seconds. You can do this for every one of the views, up to 16 views. In 16 view, the screen is split into 16 different squares. We only have 8 cameras. We have an 8-channel system, so there's only going to display 8 cameras here. So in actuality, we'll go ahead and choose 9 so that this makes more sense. Since we only have 8 cameras and this is split into 9 screens, we can just put 1 camera in each one of the windows instead of rotating between them. So I'll set this up so that window 1 has camera 1, window 2 has camera 2, window 3 has camera 3, window 4 has camera 4, window 5 camera 5, window 6 camera 6, window 7 camera 7, window 8 camera 8. And that's how you configure the different windows. It's if you want to use less screen real estate and you want to be able to see more of what's going on with all your cameras, you just choose a video window, you know, of maybe 1 or 2, or even you can even go to I'm sorry, I'm jumping to the video windows. I meant view. You can change the view so that less real estate is taken up by multiple cameras, and you're instead going to rotate between the different cameras that you want to view in that particular window. And you can create a different group for each one of the output jacks on your matrix card. So right now, for set group 1 and video out 1, we have it set to 1 view. Obviously, there's only 1 window there, and we're going to choose all 8 cameras, and that means that on video monitor 1, we're going to see each of all 8 cameras displayed 1 at a time at 3-second intervals. Now we could go and select set group 2, and then we only have 1 video out here, but let's just say for the sake of argument that we have chosen video out 02. Then we could create a different configuration. We could change the video view mode to 4. And we could say, window 1 is camera 1 and 2. Window 2 is 3 and 4. Window 3 is 5 and 6. And window 4 is 7 and 8. And in this situation, what's going to happen is in square 1 here, it's going to rotate between cameras 1 and 2 with a 3-second interval between the rotation. And window 2 here is going to do the same thing for cameras 3 and 4. Window 1 is going to be 5 and 6, and window 4 is going to be 7 and 8. And it's going to stay on each camera in that window for 3 seconds. And that is how you set up the matrix card.